Hello again, it's me, Philip, and you've stumbled upon another action-packed episode of BrickhouseBodymindTV. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. This is going to be a lecture format, so there's not going to be any demonstration, but it's going to be packed with theory. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Recently on the RMAX forums, there has been a small discussion about the differences between Vinyasa and Prasara flow in Hatha Yoga practice. So in my idiosyncratic way of obsessing over these things, I've thought a lot about this and analyzed a little bit how Vinyasa and Prasara function in my own practice. I wrote a little blurb about it, so that's what I'm going to be going over with you today. I happen to think that yoga practice in general kind of gets a bad rap for being esoteric and weird and mystical, when in reality, I mean, all it is just the desire to bring you into the flow of the moment. Now, I don't know anybody really who wouldn't like to be at least a little bit more in the moment, to be less distracted by aches and pains in the body, less distracted by worries and anxieties in the head, all of that. So Hatha Yoga specifically is a practical science that uses the technologies of the body to accomplish this, to basically eliminate the distance between you and the beauty of what is going on right now around all of us. So when we talk about Hatha Yoga and try to understand the way Prasara flow works with Vinyasa in that practice, we're going to look at this Venn diagram that you see here. And you can find this diagram in Scott Sonnen's book, Prasara Yoga, Flow Without Thought. It's a brilliant book, and after I read it the first time and started to implement the techniques of Prasara into my practice, realized quickly that this was sort of the missing puzzle piece in taking my practice to another level. This diagram appears simple enough at first, but it really takes a little bit of explanation to get the true significance of it. So what you're looking at is three large circles which represent the three technologies of Hatha Yoga. These are breath, movement, and structure. The quality of your yoga practice, of any yoga practice in any body on any given day, is determined by how well these three technologies interface with each other and how well they exchange information. So what helped me in understanding this diagram was thinking about asana, Vinyasa, and Prasara Yoga as basically software programs that you can run during your yoga practice at specific times to get these technologies really jiving with each other and really speaking the same language. So let's talk about asana first. This is probably the easiest one for most people to get because it's what we all think of, especially in the West, when it comes to yoga practice. So asana is the program we can run to integrate breath and structure. And any good yoga practitioner knows that when you're holding a pose, you're really not standing still or sitting still or what have you. You're really involved in a feedback loop between breath and structure. The breath informs the structure informs the breath, and you're constantly making little adjustments to enhance the integrity of the structure within the given pose. So that one's pretty easy. If we move on to Vinyasa, what we find is that Vinyasa is a program we can run to integrate breath with movement. The technology of the breath functions in a very specific way. When you inhale, for example, the core of the body, the chest and the abdomen expand, the spine goes into a natural back bend, and when you exhale, the core compresses and the spine wants to come forward. So when we apply the technology of the breath to movement, what we get is the very specific sequences that we have in Vinyasa. And Vinyasa itself actually means to place in order. So when we begin to sync the breath with the movement, it makes sense to place certain poses in certain places so that as you inhale, you come up, open the front of the body. As you exhale, you go down, compress the front of the body, etc. So really, vinyasa is more about syncing than it is about flow. When we do this, it gives us several benefits in the fact that we become more in touch with how our breath affects our movement, how breathing affects the alignment of the structures in movement, and also it's good for neutralizing or realigning the structures of the body between asana practice, between asana holding. When we move into Prasara flow, we are integrating movement and structure. So we're still breathing during this, but the breath is really running more as a background function to the integration and the communication of movement and structure. When we apply the technology of movement, which is really the nervous system and your musculature, to take the structure of the human body on a journey through the 6 degrees of freedom, you're wringing the tension out of the body and uncovering or unbinding the natural flow that's under there. So as you begin to integrate these programs and run them at different points during your practice, you'll get these technologies really talking cohesively with each other, and very cool things happen in your yoga practice. So I hope that this explanation has been helpful to you. I find it helpful as well because really I do this just as much to help me clarify these things in my own mind as much as to help anybody else out there who might be listening. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time, be good to yourselves.